All right, welcome to episode 5 of the Domination Rankings of Everything, the show that creates a weekly top 25 of everything together. With me today is our superstar intern, Emma Hurley, who was recently accepted by the University of Notre Dame. How excited are you, Emma?
I'm so excited.
Excited enough to sing the Notre Dame fight song?
I haven't been fully initiated into the cult yet, but
All right.
maybe after that I
All
can,
right, maybe the next episode we will get that. Something to
for
look
sure.
forward to. All right. Well, anyway, that Notre Dame admission might not be a good thing because with us is a man not fond of the Fighting Irish. He's a humor writer, a nonprofit executive, and very much looking forward to becoming an empty nester. Yes, Emma, that's your dad, Mike Hurley.
Woo! Thanks, Dave. Thanks. Hey, I want to let you know I've been preparing for this. Been preparing for this for a couple weeks now. I've been hanging out with the local middle school debate team. So, some people are a little creeped out by it, and I might be on somebody's list, but whatever I have to do to prepare to get ready for today, I'm going to do it. So, let's go.
Appreciated. All
Yeah.
right. And finally, we have Mike Dinga, who, as a Penn State alum, is not likely to send up a volley cheer up high anytime soon. But more importantly, he's a humor writer when he's not traveling the world, golfing, or pickleballing. And I'm not even sure that pickleballing is a word.
It is absolutely a word in the pickleball culture, Dave. You should you're rest safely on that. Hey, I'm great. Very happy to be here. I'm a former attorney. I'm a former travel soccer coach, a former stay-at-home dad. So basically, I know a little bit about a lot, which I think is perfect for this whatever this show is.
I think it
And
is.
and Emma, I'm going to go recent scoreboard on you and mention Penn State's spectacular fourth quarter comeback in the men's lacrosse quarterfinals. So we can go from there.
There you go.
Deep,
All right.
digging deep.
Um, well, then there's me, Dave Barron, Grand Poobah, College Basketball Times, which is where the domination rankings originated, albeit just for basketball, which we have now expanded to absolutely everything. Thus, the domination rankings of everything. So here's how things work. And feel free to laugh at the word work or not. Don't laugh. That's fine too. We'll start with 3 rounds of debate to which 3 new things should be added to the top 25. But that means 3 things have to come out. Is my math correct there, Emma?
Yes, I was adding it up
All right,
unaccounted.
good.
You're
That's
good.
good. So then we'll reveal the latest top 25 according to our many voters. And the last 3 things on the voters' top 25 list will be set to be cut. However, Mike Dinga, we have 2 mics here, which is not helpful to me at all. Mike Dingo will have the opportunity to save one of those and replace it with something else to be cut, should he be successful in convincing the 3 of us to do so. Similarly, Mike Hurley can move an item up with sufficient persuasion, and I get the joy of trying to move something down, apparently because I'm depressing. I don't know. And that's it. We are off. Emma, what is the first matchup?
All right, Dave, you are the judge of round one. It is going to be Mike Hurley arguing for Tom Cruise versus Mike Dinga arguing for pasta.
So Mike Hurley goes first.
All right, let's kick it off. If anybody hasn't been to a movie lately, then you haven't been out there to see Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Guess what? Stars Tom Cruise in what's going to be his 33rd movie to hit $100 million in the box offices. That is a record. No other actor's done that before, right? He's 62 years old, still doing his own stunts. As the 1990 sexiest man of the year, he's done a ton of work and he looks even better than he did before. If you've seen his new facial configuration, he is unstoppable in the world of cinema. He could do it all. He could flip liquor bottles. He could play pool. He could dance in his underwear. He can even drive NASCAR. Tom Cruise is definitely one that should be added to the domination rankings. Let me just leave you with this, Judge. You complete me. There we go. Boom. Tom Cruise.
All right. So this goes to Mike Dinga now. advocating for pasta.
Well, first, let me step on Tom Cruise a little bit here. Despite his Louisville roots, I think he's a bit overrated. You
Oh,
can't really talk about dollar amounts because it costs like $36 to go to a movie these days. So I think you throw that completely out. He's a little short. You know, they always film him looking up so he looks taller. And we've got the whole Katie Holmes on the Oprah couch thing, all weird stuff. Let's move on to pasta. Spectacularly delicious anyway. Red sauce, white sauce, no sauce, soups. I think it's as granted as I get older, I eat a little bit less just because of myself and my metabolism, but that makes it even more special. And I will point out part of icon. You talk about movies, iconic movie scenes: Elf, Goodfellas, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and perhaps most importantly, Lady and the Tramp, who would not have kissed if it were not for a single strand.
Solid point.
very good. Well, let's talk about pasta for a second. You know what? It wasn't even invented in Italy. They were eating it 3,000 years ago in Egypt, 2,000 years ago, they're making noodles in China, right? It's full of carbs and gluten. And unless I'm running a marathon where I need to carbo load, that carbo load is just going to sit in my gut and make me fat, right? They get all excited about pasta. Ooh, it's in the shape of a shell. Oh, look, it's bendy. Oh, it's something else. It's flour and water, maybe some eggs. That's it. You
All
know?
right,
And
Mike,
no
any
one eats it
rebuttal?
plain. No one eats it plain.
Well,
Unless you're like a 5-year-old with like sensory issues and an unsophisticated palate, you're not eating plain pasta. It's only good because you dump all that stuff on there. Take
no,
a
absolutely.
meatball,
You have not
pesto.
had my pasta with a little olive oil and black pepper. Oh, spectacular. And I do think, look, I don't care where I'm Italian. I don't care if you say it came from the moon. Pasta is pasta. So I'm not Italian pastaing here. I am pasting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You could pour gravy and Alfredo sauce and meatballs. You could put it over a plate of old shoestrings and people would still think it's great. The pasta itself is just tasteless nothing, right? Now,
Oh, all right. Any
Back
other
to Tom
rebuttal
Cruise.
to
If
the
you haven't
tasteless
seen him
nothing?
play Les Grossman in Tropic Thunder, for which he should have won an Academy Award, then you don't know movies.
Is it Mission Impossible 32? Is that the
It
36
is,
movies that
and
he's
people are
had
still
over?
flocking to the theaters to see it because it's so good.
Can't he just not accept the mission for a change?
It's impossible. It's impossible not to accept it.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's solid. All right. I'm going to jump in here as a judge. I have to
Show me the
concede.
money, Dave. Show me the money.
I love pasta. I absolutely love pasta, but I like antipasta better. In fact, I eat antipasta twice just because she is so nice. Angelina, the waitress at the pizzeria. Come on, everybody now. I eat soup a minestrone just to be with her alone. Angelina, the waitress at the pizzeria. Emma, take it away. Emma, you got to learn your Louis Prima.
Yeah.
Anyway, unfortunately, pasta is not even one of the top 10 most popular foods in the US. It ranks below
Oh,
hamburgers and fried chicken and hot dogs. But it's the third most popular food in the entire world, behind pizza and sushi. And sushi always makes me sick. That is a big positive for pasta. Tom Cruise, I got to give huge props for the currentness of the Tom Cruise pick. And not many of his movies have been crappy. I even liked Losing It. And when I watched it, I didn't even know what it was. So the man has incredible range. He's 5'7" and yet plays Jack Reacher, who is 6'5". So that's impressive to me. I don't want to rip on anybody's religion except if it's Scientology. Um, and I'm not a big fan of his anti-psychiatry rant, though he did do that in the face of Matt Lauer, and there may be reason to support an attack on Matt Lauer. But and Mike mentioned the Oprah couch jumping, and I think that's just further evidence the man does his own stunts. However, he's never won an Academy Award.
I want to. Can I point out that this is the world domination
Yeah.
rankings. The world back here, not just U.S. The world is back here.
Very good. And nice weatherman ability to point one way when you're good. Stellar. All right. He is not even one of the top 10 best actors of all time. He's definitely behind Marlon Brando, Pacino, De Niro, Jack, Denzel Washington, Leo, Tom Hanks, Daniel Day-Lewis, not to be confused with D-Day from Animal House, but Daniel Day-Lewis could have pulled off D-Day from Animal House. Tom Cruise could not. We're going with pasta.
Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. I want the truth, Dave. I want the truth.
All right,
I
Stella.
accept this award on all pasta lovers everywhere.
Oh my
Thank you.
God.
All right, moving on. Emma, what do we got for round two?
All right, we're now at round two. Our judge is Mike Hurley, and we have Mike Dinga arguing for Inside the NBA, and Dave arguing for Star Wars.
Mike Dinga goes first.
All right. This is not pro NBA. I'm not an NBA fan. I don't care if I miss some games, playoff games, but I will not miss an episode of Inside the NBA. It is must see TV. And when it goes off the rails, it's even better. It's the perfect grouping. You got Shaq, Kenny, the Godfather Ernie, and of course, Charles Barkley. There's 3 to 4 literally laugh out loud moments a show. And when it, like I said, when it goes off the rails, it's spectacular. There are iconic moments. We got Kenny pushing Shaq into the Christmas tree. You got Charles, who he play for game. You got Kenny getting run over by the Kobe's car in the sneaker ad. You got Shaq in a fool. You got Chuck's guarantee and his affection with San Antonio women. And you have Ernie's son, of course, Alex Caruso. They're switching networks. It might be ending. I think they're switching. They don't even know. It's going off the rails completely, and you
10
must
seconds.
watch tonight because it could very well be their last episode.
All right. Star Wars. I anticipated Mike was going to rip on Star Wars, and I'm sure he will in the rebuttal. So here is my preemptive defense. Anything he says against Star Wars is wholly insincere. He and his brother had every single action figure growing up, and I know that positive. They didn't just have like one stormtrooper. They had like 20 because you need 20 stormtroopers. They had like 5 Jawas. In fact, I would have had more stormtrooper and Star Wars action figures had it not been for the dingas. Because my mother would be like, "Why do you need these? Go play with the dingas." So Star Wars made more money. The franchise has made more money than the 8 Mission Impossible movies, the 8 Lord of the Ring movies, and the 9 Ernest movies all combined. And Slam Dunk Ernest is a classic to this day. Now, people might say, I anticipate Mike's going to come back with like Phantom Menace was poor. But it had that, because it had that annoying character. I can't, what was his name? Anybody remember his name?
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks. You remember. You know why you remember? Because even though that movie wasn't that great, everybody remembers the characters. The cultural impact is unmatched. You had, even Emma knows who Darth Vader is. Everybody knows Star Wars. They have the line from May the Force be with you has turned into essentially a national holiday. You can't beat Star Wars. It's the
10 seconds.
highest grossing movie franchise other than freaking Marvel. And Marvel's not one story. It's like 30 freaking stories. And you don't have Marvel if you don't have Star Wars because all of the special effects derived from Star Wars. Star Wars has to be on the top 25. Mike, what's your rebuttal? Let me hear.
Well, I think you made most of my points for me, Dave. I appreciate that. Um, they absolutely should have stopped. I'd say stop after 2. I get they had to finally figure out. I don't want to spoiler alert, but Darth Vader's Luke's dad. I get it. So we needed 3, but afterwards it's 7 now. They went in an odd number. You start with 4 or 3.
You're smart enough to keep track. You can order things.
And I might have even supported you, Dave, if it was Star Wars 1 and done. But you went franchise here, and so that's where I think your argument fails. And lastly, this is a current Domination rankings, not from 1975 or 6 or 7.
Because I included the whole.
So may I point of order? May I finish? So if that were the case, we would be including the Big Bang, not Big Bang Theory, but the Big Bang in part of this world domination ranking.
Then nominate the Big Bang. Instead, you nominate Inside the NBA, which is now moving to the evil empire of ESPN instead of that plucky little upstart TNT. Again, evil empire. Where's it come from? Star Wars.
It's
I'll concede this about Inside the NBA. Chuck, Kenny, Ernie, great. Everybody else that comes on that show is garbage. Shaq, the only funny thing he did was shit himself recently. He's not worth it. I
Are
mean,
you not
Kenneth
entertained?
Joe,
Are you not entertained?
no, not by Shaq. Not by Shaq. He ruins the show. Football Night in America gets 12 million views. Inside the NBA is down to less than 400,000 views. That's less than shows on the CW, a channel that people have even forgotten have existed. So there's no way you can put Inside the NBA, which is might possibly, like you said, be going off the air instead of Star Wars, which has 5 more movies coming out. That's not a positive. People like it.
Is that 10 through 15 or is it -4 through
Oh, they're
0?
going in the
Can we
middle.
number
Nobody
those
knows.
yet?
Nobody cares. It's fun. It's
Gonna
Star
do
Wars. You got
2 and
lightsabers,
7.
Mandalorians. I don't even know what a
4.
Mandalorian is.
All right, all right. I think we got it. I think we got enough to go on here.
One more thing. How
Oh,
can
oh.
a show about the NBA make it over the NBA? A show that analyzes games that are often rigged. You got to go with Star Wars. Nothing
That's
rigged
why
about
I'm not.
Star Wars.
That's why it's not the NBA. It's inside the NBA.
All right,
All right.
Mike.
So we got a couple of things here. Dave, you already mentioned Star Wars. It's not the highest rated franchise, not the most popular franchise. Marvel is much bigger, the Marvel universe.
But that's
Also, just
multiple
in
stories, and
general,
Marvel doesn't exist without Star Wars.
even behind other franchises, Pokemon, Mickey Mouse, even Winnie the Pooh is a bigger franchise than Star Wars,
For
right?
now,
So some little bear named after poop is bigger than Star Wars as a
for
franchise.
now.
Also, I haven't watched the Star Wars anything since Jar Jar Binks was introduced in 1999, as mentioned earlier. But I do love a good
That's right.
lightsaber fight. I love the voice of Darth Vader. Like, that's awesome. I am your father, right? And but I'm a
Oh,
little
that was a
creeped out.
perfect imitation, by the way.
Yes, thank you. I've been working on that. But I never really understood that incestuous relationship between Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. It's a little off-putting. But let's go on to Inside the NBA. It's a good sports show, but it's small. And if it weren't for Charles Barkley, the show would be nothing. And so I don't even know if people care about the NBA anymore. Ratings are plummeting year after year for the last 10 years. And I contend that College Game Day and maybe even Pardon the Interruption are better sports shows. So as much to my chagrin, I'm going to add Star Wars in as the winner for this rather than Inside the NBA.
It doesn't feel like a victory here for some
It
reason.
does, it shouldn't feel like it.
I'll concede Star Wars. However, watch tonight because they may just blow up the set if tonight's the last game.
Yeah,
Go
it's
New
gonna
York, go
be-
New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go New York, go!
There you go.
Thanks for the setup there, Mike. All right, we are on to round 3. Emma, what do we got?
All right, round 3. We have Judge Mike Dinga and Dave arguing for Jeeps and Mike Hurley arguing for ice cream trucks.
All right, let me tell you about the Jeeps. It has been hands down the coolest vehicle for decades, which remains indisputably true despite the fact that I have owned one since 1998. You drive a Jeep and people wave at you. That doesn't happen unless maybe you're driving the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. In fact, I get so used to it when I'm driving my wife's SUV, I wave at people and they're like, "What are you doing?" Now there's a new thing that started a few years ago. You drive a Jeep, you get a duck. You get a duck. People just put ducks on your Jeep. You get a gift for driving the Jeep. You know, a free rubber ducky makes me feel like Ernie. What's better than that? I get a duck. Honestly, I'd rather have money, but I'll take a duck. The big negative with Jeep that people will say is it's not safe. Oh, it's not a safe car. First of all, you don't buy a Jeep for the safety. You buy it to go out off-roading or go on a beach. All right, go get your
10
Volvo.
seconds.
Get your Volvo. Be safe. I'll ride my Jeep. We'll both get hit by a Mack truck. I'll die immediately. You'll suffer for months. Longful, painful death. I win. Jeep over ice cream truck, and I'm coming at you hard with a rebuttal.
All right, here we go. I want you to listen to this little ditty right here. Da-dum, da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum, da-dum, 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 dum, da-dum, da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum. Bum, bum, ba-na-na. Okay, so for most
Stole that
people,
from
except
Elf.
for maybe Dave, this brings back wonderful memories. For Dave, it probably brings back the night that he consummated his marriage or something like that. But for the rest of us, for the rest
Thanks
of
for the
us,
assumption, though, by the way.
this evokes a wonderful memory of the ice cream truck pulling around. So if you're a good red-blooded American, you would go and you'd ravage your mother's purse to grab the change and run down the street to find the ice cream truck in your neighborhood. That old, creepy, beat-up truck slowly creeping down your street. You would drop everything to go find the delicious confectionery treats that are in that truck, right? You had your classic drumsticks, your bomb pops, my favorite, the chocolate eclair, or maybe if I'm feeling a little sassy, I go for the strawberry shortcake. But even the kid, we had this kid in our
10
neighborhood,
seconds.
this refugee from the former Soviet Union. He could only scrounge up a couple cents, maybe some lint in his pocket, maybe a ruble was stuck in there, and he could still get a delicious push-up. And with that orangey, syrupy mess dripping down his arm, you know what he would do? He'd turn to me and whisper, "I love America." Yes, ice cream trucks for the win.
All right. All right. Here is, first
I
of all,
did
you missed
I
your
did not
best
see that
argument.
going that one direction.
I'm
Your
not
best
done yet. I'm
argument
not done
was
yet.
that Eddie Murphy has a great bit about the ice cream truck. So
For
you lose
sure.
that. You don't even get to consider that. Here's the thing. They shouldn't call it an ice cream truck. They should call it make children fat truck. Or maybe early onset diabetes truck. Or you mentioned the creepiness of the truck. How about the truck drivers? Or maybe they should call it the pedophilia mobile. There was just another incident of this in the news yesterday. Jeeps have a much lower rate of child molestation than ice cream trucks. So you're Mike Dinga, you're either pro Jeep or pro pedophilia.
All
In
right.
addition, you get stuck behind an ice cream truck, those freaking kids never move. It's like a vehicular homicide waiting to happen. Ice cream trucks, it makes no sense. You got to go with the Jeep.
Yes.
Jeeps play a huge role in Mission Impossible. I'm not going to ruin the movie for you because I haven't seen it yet. But Jeeps were also incredibly important in World War II for their recon, the speed. Me personally, if I had the choice, I'd go with the tank instead of a Jeep. But hey, God bless the Jeeps. Hurley, you got anything for rebuttal?
All right. Okay. So I will contend. Yes, there are super creepy pedophiles driving ice cream trucks, but you didn't that's how you knew you didn't go alone. You went in pairs. You always went in pairs to the ice cream truck. And you know what? That even made it more dangerous. And the dangerousness of possibly being kidnapped and sold into child slavery made that ice cream treat even more delicious. More delicious, not less delicious right there. But
If
let
you
me talk about Jeeps for a second. Jeeps, electrical problems, transmission problems, engine problems, ride quality, handling, terrible fuel efficiency. You know how bad it is? They have suspension issues that are so bad that they call it the death wobble. The death wobble when you're riding in a Jeep. Now, that might be fun if you go to Six Flags or something like that. Let's go ride the death wobble. But if you're careening down the interstate at 75 miles an hour, you don't want to start experiencing the death wobble in your Jeep. All right?
sure you
Now,
do. You're just not
now,
cool enough for it.
wait a second. Wait a second. There's more. Because I rode in a Jeep when I was a child, my uncle's Jeep. We'd go fishing and he'd make us sit in the back. We'd be bouncing around with sharp metal edges everywhere. And the thing smelled like dead fish because all they would do is go fishing, put the fish in the back, fish. All
That's
I
a
remember
fishing
about
problem. That's not
Jeeps
a Jeep
is it
problem.
smells like dead fish. And one last point, Jeeps aren't even American anymore. They're owned by a Dutch company where their headquarters are in Hoofddorp, Netherlands. So,
This doesn't
boom,
have to be American. Try go
down,
off-roading with an ice cream
down.
truck. Try
Ice
go
cream
off-roading.
is
You'll get eaten by a
delicious.
bear. You know, I, ice cream truck drivers never let you drive, but Jeep drivers will let you drive their Jeep. Ice cream truck sound now, if you got kids, means how much money am I wasting on crap? That's what that sound means. All right, Mr. Dinga, what do you got?
Well, full disclosure, I'm a former Jeep owner. I had the Jeep Grand Cherokee,
So different.
purple, so it was spectacular. One
You
of
spent
my
half your
family's
adult
favorite.
life in the mechanic shop trying to get it fixed.
May I continue, please?
Yes.
It was certainly one of our favorite cars. You know, like all things, eventually you move on. You go to the worst mistake was going to to the minivan, and I wish I had never made that move. That was
Yeah.
my own fault. Um, Dave mentioned off-roading, spectacular. Those off-road sites that you drive by. There's never anybody on those off-road sites for the Jeeps, but they have them. So
Yeah.
I imagine somebody's using them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do recall all the World War II. Memorial Day was recently, so all those airdrops, with the Jeeps coming out of the planes. I don't think there was anybody in them, but I think they made it to the ground. Um, but let me go to ice cream truck. Very fond of the cherry dip uh, as well, the cherry dip vanilla cone.
Oh, good.
Dave and I scrambled many a time down our streets trying to get to that ice cream truck because you heard the bells. I don't know if that was the song they played for. I think we had a different guy, a different song than you gave us, Mike. But
I scrambled
nonetheless,
with you guys because your mom would actually pay for the ice cream
that
for me.
is correct. That is correct. Now, the drawback I have with the ice cream truck is very inconsistent timing. There were days it didn't seem to show up. It'd come at 10:30 in the summer, then it'd come at 4. You had really no idea. So you were left peering out your window with the $1.25 in your hand that you had scrambled from under couch cushions, hoping and waiting to get to that, to hear it and then get there before the guy pulled away.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they ever turned back. I never saw a guy turn back. Huge lover of ice cream, huge lover of the ice cream truck, but I think I have to go with Jeep.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
I have to go with Jeep.
All right. So now we're moving
Ooh.
on to we will reveal the top 25 as created by our many voters. Emma, you are up. Read
All
them
right.
off.
This isn't like a drum roll moment, is it? I can just go.
If you have a drum roll, it can be a drum roll
All
moment.
right. I'll drum roll for the first one. Are we starting
Okay.
from number one?
Okay.
Are we starting at number one?
Yes, we are starting at
Perfect.
number one.
Okay. Drum roll, please.
Very nice.
Number one, pizza.
Ah.
Number two, TV.
All right, stop right there, Emma. Stop right there. We're skewing old, I think, on this show, are we not? Are we talking TV with like I use? Because I'm frightened. I have cable. I have a DVR. It's 99% full. 2/3 of it are Hallmark movies, but I can't get rid of my TV or my cable because I have the DVR. My 220-something-year-old kids, they have no interest in cable. I think they use a TV only to stream and to play their video games. So, are we talking ATV or the TV experience? I'm not quite sure, but nonetheless, I think it's appropriately ranked.
All right. Number three, sleep. Number four, oh God, a good bowel movement.
Very nice.
Number five, sex.
All right. First of all, I take great joy in watching Mike hear his daughter say sex. But second of all, I take greater joy to know that bowel movement ranks higher than sex. And this might be evidence that we need some voters under the age of 50. But that's all I got for you. Go ahead, Emma.
Number six, the Pope. Number seven, The Simpsons. Number eight, making people laugh. Really thought that would get a funny comment there, but I guess I was wrong. All right, moving on.
It's what you're doing right now, Emma. That's what you're doing right now.
Oh yeah, that was all on me actually. All right, number nine, money. Number 10, Jesus. Oh, these are really religious. I like it, coming from a future Notre Dame student.
There you go.
Number 11, sandwiches. 12, Batman.
Oh, let me stop you right there. I just want to go on record saying that Adam West was the best Batman ever. No, let me give you some evidence. I was watching an episode the other day called "The Joker's Flying Saucer," and Adam West and all his Batmanness said, "It's a duty of every good citizen of Gotham City to report meeting a man from Mars in a public park. Gotham City Penal Code, Section 32, subsection 14. You don't get that from any other Batmans, where they're quoting Gotham City Penal Codes. It's so awesome. Also, he didn't have the weird nipples like George Clooney. So
Very true. All right. We're hurting a little bit for time here, guys. We're under 10. Let's go.
All right, 13, jeans. 14, New York City. 15, the Domination rankings. Did you guys bring me on this show just to bring up the domination rankings? I did not sign up for this. This is way too much pressure. No, thank you. All right, 16, Shakespeare. 17, winning Olympic gold. 18, Elvis.
Let me make a note on Elvis real quick here, Emma. I was actually in Nashville, Tennessee the day Elvis died, and I regret not making the trip to Memphis and Graceland for that weekend. It's a big regret in my
Should
life.
be.
And
Should be.
are we all concerned about old Elvis? Does that affect Elvis himself, or is it just we did
The
forget
whole
about that?
package is wonderful.
It's like the
Every
seventh
stage of
Star Wars
Elvis.
movie.
All right, keep it rolling.
All right. Number 19, couples arguing publicly. Number 20, air conditioning. Number 21, Premier League soccer. 22, Alabama women's wheelchair team.
Woohoo! Our sole connection to college basketball survives another week. Yes, there you go. All right, Emma. These next three, are they the ones that are getting cut?
Yes, these next three are set to be cut and replaced with the three new entries.
All right.
We have number 23, the steam engine. 24, Canada, and in parentheses, their hatred for the United States. And number 25, Henry Kissinger.
Now, I remember listening to one of those recent episodes where Dave was bringing up how Henry Kissinger was such a ladies' man. And then I recently learned that the quote, power is the ultimate aphrodisiac, that came from Henry Kissinger, probably after he bagged that Bond girl, Jill St. John, and a few other A-list celebrities. Yeah.
All right. So now, Mike, I believe you are going to advocate that one of these last three, steam engine, Canada, or Henry Kissinger, should stay in and something else is coming out.
That is correct, Dave. That is correct. Despite Henry Kissinger actually living to the age of 100, I'm going to save Canada and I'm going to dump winning Olympic gold. First of all, I think I would argue that winning Olympic gold is overrated and even not as memorable as the people who have failed in epic failures to win Olympic gold. Think about it. The men's basketball in Munich. The only reason that there's a dream team is because that we lost a bunch of Olympic medals before that. We've got Ben Johnson and the PEDs. Canada, I might also mention. We got Mary Decker being tripped by Zola Budd, and of course Simone Biles. I remember the twisties more than I could remember any of her Olympic golds. Now, for saving Canada, ever since South Park, I think Canada's gotten a bad rap for blaming Canada. I say save Canada. Based on how things have been going recently, too, this show may be Canada's last best hope to remain a sovereign, independent nation. And think of all the Canadians: Ben Johnson, as I mentioned, Michael J. Fox, Kiefer Sutherland, Alanis Morissette, all the hockey players. Even Elon Musk moved there at 18, but we can get him out of it. I don't think we need to really include him. Lastly, two things: iconic flag, and their anthem is way better than ours. I'm sorry. So
I want to jump in because I don't think I like either one of these. I'm like, I don't even know why Canada was on the list in the first place. Their hockey team hasn't even won a Stanley Cup, a Canadian team, in like 30 years. You know who has one? A team from Tampa Bay like 3 times in the last 30 years. And that flag, it inspires nobody. It's a maple leaf. Yeah, I get it. You make syrup, but you're not inspiring fear or inspiring a nation to greatness.
All right. First of all, the syrup, they are the #1 exporter of maple syrup in the whole world. Though that is the only thing they are #1 at. That's it. Right. Nothing. They got 3 universities that are supposedly good. Nobody knows who they are. That's it. But winning Olympic gold, that is about the best feeling you can get, other than maybe, say it with me, Emma, a good bowel movement. I mean, you win an Olympic gold in even like curling or biathlon, you can sit around the rest of your life and just dare someone to call you a loser. Imagine like how good that looks on your resume compared to somebody else. Somebody's got like hobbies and it's, I don't know, like bass guitar and scrapbooking, and you got won an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah, but Dave, let me stop you there, because that's great if it's your country or a sport that you know. But if you're somebody like Sven Thorfeld of Sweden who won the gold medal in what? Oh, the modern pentathlon in 1928.
Exactly right.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
All right.
By the way, do you even know what was in
with
the modern pentathlon?
Let's vote. All right, Mike, you're voting for Mike.
Go ahead.
Hurley, your vote. I'm sorry, Mike Dinga. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think Mike, I like Mike's point there. This is an individual achievement, and nobody else is going to know who won the pentathlon. And I dare you to not to try to figure out all the other European countries that have the same colors in different orders. Nobody knows what their flags
All
are.
right, Mike Hurley, who are you voting for?
I'm voting for none of the above. I want them both eliminated.
Who are you voting for?
I'm telling you, I'm voting for both.
All
Out.
right,
Out.
Emma, who you got?
I gotta go with Canada, just because I really like beavers.
So Canada stays.
Hmm.
All right. Then Canada, I would have gone with winning Olympic gold. I'm sure Mike Dinga is saying Canada is out. So
I will say
Canada is
Canada,
out.
yes. I will say.
All right. We have very little time left. We are now up to Mike Hurley pitching for air conditioning. Mike, give us a pitch in like 30 seconds.
Okay. First of
Moving air
all, I'll just
conditioning
go
up.
back to my winning argument that got it on the board in the first place in one of my past episodes, where I said, if you've ever experienced swamp ass or butt butter, you know that you need air conditioning. And I'm going to throw in a few added phrases to add to your vocabulary. We'll call it muggy posterior, booty doo, and trench ass. If you want to experience any of those, lose your air conditioning.
All right. My
I'm saying move it
contention
up to
is
number 11, baby.
I could see it going up a little bit, but it ain't going up over Elvis. Without, I just,
You know, he had some swamp ass going in those later years
here's the thing.
down
Air
in Memphis.
conditioning leaks gases, and granted, Elvis did too, but his were much funnier. You know, I could see it moving ahead of couples arguing publicly because that might be the dumbest thing on the list, but it can't go above Elvis. Mike Dinga, what's your take?
Dave, you're preaching to the choir. I would move it up just under Elvis. So I think air conditioning way more important than couples arguing publicly, but not as important as Elvis.
There you go. It goes up
So
one.
we'll move it up one. Move it up
All
to
right, we're
19.
down to our last thing here, which is me contending that The Simpsons should move down. My contention is all right, it's the longest running sitcom, but it is not the best. It is not better than All in the Family. It's not better than Cheers. It's not better than I Love Lucy. It's not better than MASH. And it's easier to have longevity when nobody dies. Nobody even ages on that show. Now, if by chance you're amongst the people who think there's too much news out there in the world, The Simpsons are responsible for saving Fox. And making people laugh it's got to go below making people laugh for sure. Not every joke works on The Simpsons. Jeans should be above The Simpsons. Emma, help me out on this one. There are new jeans coming out by Chanel, which when I first read it, I thought it said Channel. And somebody named Stella McCartney, who apparently is related to the guy from the Beatles. And they're going to have jeans coming out this summer. They're supposed to be a big hit with sequins and rhinestones on it. So jeans are more current than The Simpsons, which people aren't watching as much as they did. That's my pitch for Simpsons going down.
Well,
I
I
don't
want
know.
to
The
mention.
Simpsons have been predicting world events for years, right? They even predicted the Trump presidency back 20 years ago. I don't know. Simpson stays on top of things, man. It still delivers.
I mean, I do. I want to mention also the theme music composed by Danny Elfman, so they've got that going for them as well.
All right, are we voting? All right, let's vote. Mike Dingus, Simpson stay or go down?
I think I would move them down maybe a handful of slots. Not a lot,
Okay.
but I don't. I think they're a little high right now.
All right.
Maybe down to like 11, 12.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think above Batman. I would put him right above Batman.
Sounds
Okay.
good. I think
Yes.
we got
Sounds
our
good.
show. I think we didn't suck. That's good. That's
Way to
good.
go.
All right. Cheer, cheer, Emma. Thanks.
Woo!
We are
See you guys.
Prince Day, by the way.